Alright, hello. Today I'm going to look at the Dance of the Demiurge event from raids last night and just kind of do an analysis on what I did well, what I did poorly, just my playing of the Druid through the event. So I chose this event because it has a decent length. There's a lot of things to dot sometimes. There's only one thing to dot sometimes. So I think there's a lot of room for different strategies there. And I don't really want to waste words, so let's get into it. Apologies if the audio sucks. I don't really do this. Actually, first, I talked with my group beforehand, and we agreed to not burn at the start and instead burn at the gods when there are the three gods. We could have burned at a different time. We could have burned in the middle with the shieldskins and the froglocks, or we could have burned at the start and then maybe again at the end because it ran a little long. But the important thing is we coordinated beforehand as to when the burn happens, and we always do this. So I make sure I have two AEs loaded. I hit distant conflagration because when I later hit it with improved twin cast, I don't want twin cast to be eating a charge of my remote nuke. And then the two AEs loaded are taking the place of a single target nuke. This is my worst one normally. It's either Bloody Roar or Summer Sunfire. And then this is taking the spot of a flex gem. Sometimes I put my Nightchill Aura here. Rarely I will put like a heal or a cure as needed. But two AEs on this event I think are pretty important because, like I said, there are a lot of ads. I make sure everyone's in zone because I had two people banner burning. I hit Group Wolf to make sure everybody gets it. They should have this through the burn if I timed it right. I'm not sure if I did, so we'll see. And then I hit Twin Cast. There are the 4 mobs and then the Lethargic not on target, so my goal is going to be as many dots in those 18 seconds as I can. Target Lethargic. I am able to hit remote there in between the recasts of Sunfire and Horde. I land an AE nuke as Twin Cast expires, so I hit my bifold, Sweltering Wrath, always Twin Cast Sweltering Wrath. Just getting dots on, and then trying to hit stuff in between global spell cooldown to maximize utility. So right here, I think most mobs have 2 dots on them. I was a little late getting dots on this energetic. This was very late in the night, so I was out of brain power to dot smartly. You'll notice there I didn't hit NSW, and because I thought it was gonna die faster. I totally should have used NSW here. Okay, so now I realize it's dying slowly, and I go ahead and hit NSW. If it had died as fast as I thought it would have, I would have just saved it for Malchusku, because it's really important for NSW to be the top dot on your extend targets. Like if right now when Malchusku goes active, if I hit Sunfire and it lands like right here, and then I hit NSW and it lands like right here, that's bad, because it means every time I get a Beguiler synergy or a Conjurer synergy from the Enchanter and the Mage in my group, it's going to boost that Sunfire or some other dot, and it's going to deal way less damage than if it were boosting NSW, which is the biggest dot. So you'll notice I don't want to do nothing for 6 seconds, but I do wait. I lose a dot. I waste a dot tick of these two to make sure that NSW goes here, Sunfire goes later, Horde goes later. I take off my cloak to cast Chill. I can't use the mouse. I have to use the spacebar. Take out my cloak to cast Chill here. This removes the extended buff duration of Chill so that it takes less time to proliferate, so that it gets to the big part of the dot sooner. Got my 4 dots on, so it's just nuke and row in between casts as normal. Ads are starting to spawn here, and I'll bot them when they get here. I start casting a nuke. I realize I should be casting a dot instead, and I duck out of it. Now we've got a bunch of things up. A couple of them are going to be baned. And lag is starting to become an issue. It always is. So the gods are up right now. These are the 3 we agreed to burn here. So I hit Twin Cast, I hit Force, hit NSW, I hit Force Rejuve, I hit NSW again. So currently this resisted, which sucks, but it'll land because I Twin Casted it, so it only resisted 1 charge. I want NSW to be ticking on 2 mobs at once while I'm burning for maximum damage. So I Twin Cast, I Sweltering Wrath, I Force Rejuve, I Sweltering Wrath, I hit Glyph, I hit Destructive Vortex, and then I tell my group to please hit CH. I think I have game sounds here, so IOG is active, CH is incoming, CH is now, you see it there. And it immediately goes away. This goes away in 2 ticks normally if you're dotting with it, with NSW, and it takes 1 charge per tick. But since I have NSW running twice, it eats it in 1 tick, and you'll notice some big damage happened. I waited until CH was done to start nuking. I'm able to use these nukes now and get massive value on these. I'm probably landing like 10 hits per nuke right now because of the amount of mobs up. Twilight Chill and Heliacal are the go-tos here. I'm also trying to get dots on everything because, of course, more dots is more damage. I see people are dying. I'm panicked because I'm panicking. But you gotta trust the splash, and in this case, it works out. I almost die. Mangina almost dies. Arimi almost dies. But Luna to the rescue. Parry, I hate you. This is why you load this spell. You're like, oh, you could have used Wild Tenders or Survival. I could have, but I might need them later. You never know. It's pretty standard, just using AE nukes, making sure my dots are applied. Twin cast is off now, so I have no hesitance about wanting to nuke. I'll just able to save the parse because I'm way ahead of it. I don't really have a go-to on the one that I'm nuking. I probably should be following the MA, but I'm gonna be honest, I kind of just nuke. I see Sunfire's off here, but I realize NSW getting cast is more important, so I cast NSW, and then I should cast Sunfire. Yep. I think I'm in a good spot now. NSW, Sunfire drops off, so I'm going to recast that. Yep. I rebuy a glyph. I should really just do this with a stupid button, but I haven't made one yet. I'm also not being super attentive onto my mana. Like, I haven't loaded the bear yet. This is because this is my staunch event, so provided I don't die in embarrassing fashion throughout the rest of the night, this event hurts me the most for mana, and so I save staunch recovery to use just to get my mana bar back. Use normal here. The boss is about to go active again. I've got NSW ready. I'm not going to cast it on 1% of the mob. Reapplying dots, get the cloak trick for chill. Everything's going pretty normally here. I see twin cast is up, but I'm probably going to save it for the period of yellow ads that are coming in about 15%. I see Jab's dying. She asked for a curse cure. I don't load a curse cure. I'll just keep you alive because that dot does not last long enough or deal enough damage to justify me loading a curse cure. Sorry, Jab. I definitely should have dotted there. I think I lean a bit too hard into the AE nukes here, and I should just make sure everything has a dot before I even bother using AE nukes. I'm not sure why I'm not dotting the performers here. Night Chill Aura dropped off. This thing only lasts 6 minutes. I wait until like we're about to go live with the engage timer to cast it, and then I unload it for the second AE. I mentioned earlier, this is a flex slot, so when needed, I will load in Aura to recast it. If you're not recasting Aura, you're doing something wrong on these events. It's a great spell and it affects everyone in your group. So now there's a bunch of ads up, which means dots and AEs are both going to be really valuable. See, I unload Aura, I reload in my nuke. Since there's so many ads, using twin cast here makes sense. I think I'll probably do it when the first set of yellows goes active, which should be shortly. But the basic strategy is just any combination of when NSW is up, cast it, period. If NSW is not up, cast Horde or Sunfire, or an AE nuke. And if Horde and Sunfire are not up, cast an AE nuke. You're basically just going to see me do that exclusively for like the next 5 minutes with these ads. I lit twin cast there. There's not really anything to write home about. I made sure I light twin cast and then get my first dots on all of these. Let me see. What did I hit twin cast? I hit twin cast here, so I get 1 dot, 2 dots. I swap to Vortex of Pro in between so that I'm less likely to get spells resisted. 3 dots, 4 dots, 5 dots, an AE nuke, and then I'm going to get this 6 dot right in as twin cast expires. I don't get it in. Now I'm going to try to not overwrite those dots that I just twin casted. I might fail spectacularly, but some of these some of the white cons, everyone forgets about. So I go back to keep throwing some more dots on them. I love this song. I'm not afraid to recast dots before they expire here because I'm using Staunch. So I know mana is not going to be an issue unless by some unfortunate means I die. And I tend to not die. On this one at least. Wave 2's coming in. I see I have 35 seconds left on Great Wolf, the single target buff, and I want to cast Group Wolf for my team so they have it while we have all these massive adds to DPS, to beam, all of the good stuffs. Anytime, I'm not sure on the seconds, but I try and wait until there's less than 40 seconds left on either the group or the single to cast the next one, so that way I can continuously chain them. The recast on each of these is 7.5 minutes, and they last 4 minutes, of course. But specifically for Spirit, because it is stronger than the group one, if I had just cast group there without clicking off Spirit first, I would have it would have not overwritten my own buff, and I would have been stuck with 20 seconds left on the single target one and not gotten this 4-minute buff. So I wait until my dot finishes, I click this off, I hit group Spirit, and we're good to go. Nothing of what I'm really doing is like super advanced druiding stuff. It's just comboing it all together that can be pretty tricky sometimes, as evidenced by the fact that I keep making mistakes. You'll sometimes see me move my mouse over to here for like blessings and seasons, even when neither of them are up. It's just habit. I'm always used to, every time I'm not doing an active spell, I should be casting something in global spell cooldown. It's not a bad habit to get into, even though it probably will give me arthritis in a couple years. It's not really worth me throwing a dot on the one at like 12% because I assume it's going to die quickly, so instead I just throw some AEs. Because, you know, currently they're hitting 7 targets. I don't know what the break-even point is for AEs for when they're worth using over just my winters or my remote, but they're low mana cost. Right now they're dealing way more damage. I hit remote there. All more of the same story. All my burns are down, including bifold, twin cast, all the relevant burns. I don't have enough for another glyph. These three, latency. These three clickies are all global spell cooldown nukes. They deal very small amounts of damage, but they are essentially free damage because I'm casting them while I'm not casting anything else. Music definitely just got muted for copyright. That's okay. We'll vibe in silence. We have one more wave of these ads, so I'll still be getting tons of damage off the AEs and the dots. I'm starting to run low on mana though, so I think I use Staunch this next round. There's no particular time on when's best to use Staunch, just whenever you're out of mana. I get aggro, I make it Rigger's problem. That's an excellent idea. Just always make it the Necro's aggro issue instead of yours. I have a little bit of a crisis there on if NSW is going to recast first or if I can fit chill in. Ultimately, I decide that I can, and it pans out. I get NSW on before NSW expires previously, and it's still the top dot on the mob for me here. Since there's multiple ads here, it's less important for NSW to be like the top dot in terms of top to bottom, because the way that synergies determine like Conjurer synergy that I have right here, Regiler synergy that I have right here, which dot gets affected by the synergy is really convoluted, or nuke, because if a nuke hits first. But basically all of the own mobs have their individual chance to tick. Like there's not a global tick for when mobs take dots, so it's possible this shill skin is going to take my horde first, this froglaw is going to take whatever it has first. So at this point, when there's multiple, it's really just about getting as many dots on all of the mobs as possible, as opposed to focusing too much on the order shenanigans. So Twincast is back up. I could use it here. Actually, that's more pressing. So I see I cast NSW on those last mobs to kill them. The boss is active. I still have like probably 6 seconds left until I can even cast NSW, so I am not going to wait on these two. I'm going to go ahead and get some dots off early, and then I'll cast NSW. But you'll notice I don't cast Sunpire. I cast Horde, I cast Chill, and then I wait, and then I cast NSW. This is for Mage Synergy. So Mage Synergy focuses fire spells and chromatic spells, which means if for Druids, the only things that are applicable are the 2 fire dots and the fire nukes. I don't want to get Sunpire on here before NSW because it'll eat the Mage Synergy and do less damage. Horde will eat the Beguiler Synergy, I believe. It gets focused by magic, but that's okay. But I at least got 2 dots on without just waiting there for like 7 seconds looking stupid. Twincast is up now, so I see that there's going to be some ads that spawn soon, so I feel like now's a good time to start getting Twincasted dots going. This is my last Twincast at the event. We're not going to take another 5 minutes. While Twincast is running, I make sure I get relevant dots on both. I recast Horde here because I didn't have Twincast running the first time, so this should now be Twincasted. Well, it's guaranteed to Twincast. I don't know if it did prior. Twincast ended, bifold repopped. I hit bifold, I hit NSW. I get my aura back. I think for the rest of this event, I like multiple times try and load. So I hit Staunch there because I'm at 3% mana. I go back to 100. Pretty simple. Dotting the ads as they spawn, keeping dots on the boss. This part's pretty self-explanatory. I try and load like 3 or 4 times a spell here, but I can't really think of something I need to load. I don't really have time to load it. Because like I don't need aura, I don't need mana bear. There. So I load Twilight Chill again, but I don't end up really needing it, I don't think. There's not that many ads on this back half. You'll notice I'm using Remote when it's up, using Winters when it was up, when there was only 1 mob. I really like Remote because of its low cast time. The heal on it's cool. Twin casting with distant conflagration is awesome. Here I get the dumb mount, so I just use the /dismount trick and spam it every time it comes back. But it's really annoying and kills my DPS. But yeah, I like Remote when I only have like a second to cast something, because Winters takes longer, Heliacal takes longer. If I had Roar Summers up, they'd also take longer. I think this might be the last dismount. I hate this raid. Like, I love it, but the mounts and the emotes make it really annoying. I could run in, but I just want to get the dots on as fast as possible. I have quick time, so I can dot while running for these two because they're instant. Then back to the same story. Mobs are up. They don't have my dots. I give them my dots. I went to hit protection of the Direward there because I flashed aggro for a second and I didn't want to get one shot because I am flimsy, but thankfully we had an SK take it off me. Nothing much going on here. Again, I still don't have any burns. Twin cast and bifold it down again. I don't need any Storm of Mana, so I'm just gonna kind of burn my deposit. At this point, I could start weaving in the Firebolt Frost nukes. I don't actually, because I have a habit of not doing it because I almost never have the mana to do it. But I have 200% of a mana pool on this one because I staunch, so that's definitely something I could have started doing earlier even, but if the event's at 50%, I don't want to risk a death, like staunching and then immediately dying and something going wrong. Pretty easy to finish out here, just some nukes. Didn't ever need to use Soothsayance or Adrenaline because no one in my group was singly dying that much specifically. There was that one time where we all were dying much, but I had plenty of tools available. I think that's pretty straightforward. Definitely some things I could have done better. There were some times I should have been dotting when I was instead of I was AEing. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how that went. Hopefully this helps. Yeah, hit me up if you guys have any questions, and thank y'all.